So after seeing how difficult it is for us to reach a unanimous decision with our previous activity, now we're going to begin our main discussion with the Articles of Confederation. And to begin with, I'd like to ask, just in general, does anybody know what the Articles of Confederation were, or has anybody heard of them? Exactly, very good, great point. The Articles of Confederation were the document that was previous to the U.S. Constitution, to the American Constitution. So it was a form of government that was adopted during the Revolutionary War. We're going to begin our slide first. If you want to title your first notes on your journal, what were the Articles of Confederation? And then the first bullet we're going to indicate, as the PowerPoint presentation says, that it was a document that created the first government of the United States. It was ratified in 1781. So what exactly are the Articles of Confederation? Well, to understand it, first we need to understand what a confederacy is. So a confederacy is a loose union of states. So it's various different states that are sovereign by themselves. They have a form of union. A lot of times, in the case of the Articles of Confederation, it was called a firm league of friendship among states. So it's different countries or different states. In this case, there were states or colonies that had a measure of association, but in themselves, they were their own independent states, but they maintained this loose union. So also, it's important to know one of the biggest things in their confederacy is that the states are not controlled completely by a national or central government. We're going to go ahead and take note of the third bullet. The third bullet reads on the PowerPoint presentation, under a confederate system, the national or central government is given only a few powers, while most of the powers are reserved for the states. And then each state has one vote, is the title of the next bullet. And it's also important to remember the last bullet on this slide. It states that the amendment of the Articles of Confederation required a unanimous vote to be changed. So anytime the Articles of Confederation wanted to be amended or changed, it required for all the different states, they all had to agree to this change. So it couldn't be the majority would rule, but it would have to be a unanimous decision. And with our previous activity, we saw how hard that was, right? So for our next slide, I'd like to ask you guys, does anybody know or could imagine why this was such a form of government that was very attractive to the colonies? Okay, good answer. So let's see what our first bullet point says here. First bullet point says that the colonies feared a strong central government. Now, why were the colonies afraid of such a government? Exactly, very good point. The colonies were afraid of a strong central government because of their previous experience with the British government, specifically under the rule under a king, who a lot of times did not take note or take interest into what the colonists wanted or what they demanded. And a lot of times, one of the main issues with it was that they were being taxed without a measure of representation. And as we know with the other different colonies, is that they all wanted to maintain their own sovereignty because they all had their own unique interests.